Hi guys, this is Shrimley Carlson. In today's video, I'm going to give you my review of How I Met Your Mother Season 1, Episode 1. A blue French love, a blue French love, and a popping of a yes. So here we go, guys. This will start off a new series. Now, I'm doing 5 with or 6 with the Big Bang Theory, the Goldbergs, right? The Goldbergs, actually 4, but this with How I Met Your Mother 5. So the Goldbergs, the Big Bang Theory, and Smallville. So this is my 4th series. So I'm gonna kick it off. So here we go, guys. I love this episode now. Now, if you guys don't know what How I Met Your Mother is about, here's a little synopsis. It's about a guy named Ted who's telling his 2 kids, his daughter, and son, who's played by David Henry. David Henry from WWP, or Wizard from Waverly WWFWP, Wizard from Waverly Place. And Ted is older now. Ted is telling his kids the story about how he met their mother in the year 2030. But older Ted's voice or narration voice is voiced by the late great Danny Tanner, aka Bob Saget, and he's telling his kids about his 27-year-old young self, how he met their mother, and how he and his friends navigated life back in 2006, navigated life and dating life and every social function in New York City. Now Ted has his best friend Marshall and Lily, who are inseparable, dating, and Marshall's about to pop the biggest question of his life, asking Lily to marry him. Meanwhile, Ted has another friend who calls himself Ted's best friend, other than Marshall, Barney, who is how can I put this? Who is a connoisseur of suits, and he's a player. Yes, a player's player, and so that's the gist of it. So in this first episode, Barney calls up Ted to meet with him at McLaren's, which is the bar downstairs from Ted's apartment downstairs. And by the way, Marshall is Ted's roommate, and Lily lives in another apartment complex. But since she's dating Marshall, she is in the apartment almost all the time. So, like I was saying, Barney calls calls Ted up and says, "You know what, Ted? The top the new the interesting new like you know what type of girl guys are into right now? Lebanese girls." So he he basically Barney says, "I want you to suit up, and meet me at McLaren's in 10 minutes." So Ted does that. He suits up, but he doesn't suit up. He's wearing a blazer. When all of a sudden, across the bar, meaning across the McLaren floor, he spots an interesting girl that catches his eye. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Marshall's preparing to pop the question to Lily. And by the way, Marshall is a future lawyer. It's a future lawyer. Lily is a kindergarten teacher. So Marshall is preparing a wonderful proposal dinner to propose to Lily. Then Lily comes home from work, Ted's apartment, comes home from work, and she says that one of her kids really lovey-dovey. Got really lovey-dovey, to put it lightly, guys. If you know what I mean, if you have seen the episode, you know what I mean. And Lily is surprised by Marshall setting up this dinner for her, but she doesn't know that it's a proposal dinner. So basically, Marshall is like, "I'm gonna go make dinner," and he's basically nervous. He's not a nervous wreck, but he's totally nervous, and he's quick. And lawyers have to think very quickly, have to be quick on their feet. So he says, "Boogity boo," and Lily is surprised by that. Why would Marshall throw a boogity boo randomly? And Marshall says, "I have a big surprise for you, Lily. But here's the thing. For this type of surprise, you need a special drink. And normally, when you are proposing to someone, you need a bottle of champagne. But here's the thing. Marshall is afraid of champagne bottles. To be more specific, popping the cork, because he had a bad experience back in the day with Lily, with Lily at dinner. I'm guessing, and Lily says, "Don't be such a dope, Marshall. You're becoming a lawyer pretty soon. Lawyers don't chicken out." So with that encouraging pep talk, Marshall proceeds to pop the bottle, but the cork pops Lily in her eye. But before that happened, Marshall pop the question. Meanwhile, at the same time, Marshall, Ted, Ted is sitting at a table with a Lebanese, with Jasmine, who is Carl the bartender's girlfriend. But Ted doesn't know that, so he in a funny way, in a quick funny way, he asked Jasmine if she wanted to go out on a date. Then Jasmine proceeds in telling Ted that she's Carl's girlfriend. And basically, to keep it short and sweet, guys, Ted proceeds in telling before, humiliating himself and asking Jasmine if she wanted to go out on a date with him, the whole Lily and Marshall love story, and the current status. And obviously Jasmine says no to Ted's funny but quick request of going out with him. And basically, and of course, and at the same time, Lily said yes to Marshall. Lily said, yes, I'll marry you. Then Marshall proceeds in popping the cork of the champagne bottle. So, but in a funny, tragic way, again, the cork pops Lily in her eye, and she's forced, and she has to wear an eye patch. But here's another thing about Lily and Marshall. They have something called, they made something called the olive theory, which is based on them. Lily hates olives. Lily hates olives. She doesn't like to eat olives. Marshall loves olives. In a weird way, that makes them compatible. So, for 4 years, Ted has been hearing about the olive theory, and it hasn't been proven. But pretty soon, it would be proven to be kind of right. And I'll get to that here in a little bit. So, but here's the thing. Secretly, Marshall loves olives. But apparently back in college, because that's where he met Marshall and Ted, and eventually Marshall met Lily. All three of them met in college. But apparently last week, or the week before of the week where the first episode is set in, Marshall had a little bit of like 3 olives at a Spanish restaurant with Barney. And he said, you had some. What up with that? Or what up? And Marshall said, yes, Barney, you are right. You are right, Barney. But I have always wanted a girl to like me for being me and for my dorkiness. And so I said to Lily when I first made eye contact with her, I hate olives. I was 18. What did you want me to do? Lily was a pretty Lily was pretty and beautiful now. So I had to lie to shoot my shot to score a goal, a crushing goal. So going back to how I met, where we met. So where we meet Ted. So in a funny twist, Barney is upset with Ted for not wearing a suit at McLaren's. And at this time, Ted is like wondering. Is saying now it's going to be me, Ted, single Ted, with my two best friends, with my two friends that are about to get married, and I'm going to be pretty soon, or in a very near future, but not too far, Uncle Ted, single Uncle Ted, and I need to find that someone, but I don't know where to look, and that's when Ted sees a pretty girl wearing a green sweatshirt, a green sweater, and just like in the 1940s, where sailors of the Navy were at a bar and they're talking to their Navy bros. They eventually get struck by a beautiful girl across the way from them, and that's what happens to Ted with this girl wearing a green sweater. So Ted is planning a way to start a conversation and go talk to her, but Barney says, "Have you met Ted?" And it's a game. It's been a tradition between the two, or just for Barney. When Ted is like distracted and planning his plan, he always does that. Barney always says, "Have you met Ted?" to a random girl. And in this case, this random girl was the girl in the green sweater named Robin. Now Robin is from Canada. He's Canadian. So Robin is from Canada. She moved from Canada to New York to work at a local news station called Metro News 1. And Robin was at McLaren's to console one of her girlfriends after getting dumped by her dumb boyfriend. So Ted is being the enemy of Robin. Every guy in the bar, or every guy that night, is the enemy. So Ted offers Robin the opportunity to make her girlfriend feel better. He offers Robin to, you can throw your drink at me. And Ted says, "You're really, really pretty. Really, really pretty. And would you like to go out sometime? Would you like to go out sometime?" And to keep it short and sweet, guys, uh, Robin says yes. And again, Robin is a reporter from a Metro News 1, but she doesn't do the breaking news stories. She does the funny monkey holding a ukulele type stories. So the data set. So a few days later, or a few nights, or 2 nights later, Ted and Robin. Ted takes Robin to a French bistro, where they have a good conversation. They have a fun conversation where Ted tells Robin about the olive theory. And Robin insinuates that she hates olives, so it's perfect. It's the olive theory all over again, but this time instead Ted instead of Marshall and Lily. So the date goes pretty well, but in first they kind of nervous jitters. Ted tells Robin that the blue French horn that is hanging up in the wall of this French bistro looks like a Smurf's downstairs, if you know what I mean. And you might think that's a funny joke, and Robin is a girl and she might not like that, but Robin is not your typical girl. She laughs at it. And another plus for Ted, she loves dogs. She has 5 dogs, and she can quote random lines from Ghostbusters. So Ted proceeds in telling Lily and Marshall about Robin. And Lily and Marshall are excited for Ted, but here's the problem. Ted didn't make his move. He did not. He didn't extend the date. And Lily says to Ted, You big crying dopey chicken. You should have extended the date. You should have extended the date. When are you going to see her again? And Ted proceeds in telling Lily and Marshall that I don't know because she has to fly to Florida to cover a story for Metro News One. Dude, and then Lily and Marshall said to Ted, dude, you should have extended the date and you should have made your move. She gave you the signal. She gave you the signal. And if you don't believe me, Ted, call someone who will tell you she gave you the signal. She gave you permission to extend the date. So Ted calls Barney up, and who's playing laser tag, and who's pretty upset at Ted for not playing laser tag with him, for not going and playing laser tag with him. And Barney says, hey, Ted, how's your unfun night going? Because I'm playing laser tag, which is awesome. And Ted says, Barney, I need to, can we meet up at McLaren's? And again, Barney says, suit up. So all three of them, meaning Marshall, Lily, and Ted, meet up with Barney at McLaren's, and they all agree. Marshall and Barney and Lily all agree that Ted should have made his move, extend the date, and that Robin gave you the signal. And by the way, Robin has a jar of unopened olives. So all three of them, so Marshall, Barney, and Lily, convinced Ted you should have asked her out. You should have asked her out on a second date. But you blew it. But thankfully, Lily and Marshall and Barney get to meet Robin for the first time on TV. And Lily says, "Oh, she's cute. Robin is cute." But she's reported. But here's the funny thing. Not the funny thing, but a little bit funny that she's reporting on a man who is trying to jump off of the Brooklyn Bridge. So here's the funny, even though it's not funny at all, but with a hint of funny. But so Ted says to Lily and Barney and Lily that just like I have to take the leap. Yes, that's not the perfect metaphor because the guy on the news that Robin is reporting on is taking a leap for a civic and dark side reason, referring to use a Star Wars term, a Star Wars term, guys. But I have to take the leap. So Ted says, "Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Support me." So Lily and Marshall support him, but the one guy that is not going is Barney. So, but Barney says, "I'll go with you, but on one condition." And that condition is that, yes, you guessed it, guys, that Ted suits up, and Ted suits up, and Ted suits up like Barney wanted, and Barney says, "I'm gonna put this on my blog. I'm going to put this on my blog." But before going to Robin's apartment, Ted has to bring something over to Robin's apartment, and he brings a jar of olives, and he steals from that same French bistro that he went with Robin, that blue French Smurf downstairs horn that Robin laughed at, the joke. And this is where we meet Ron Cheat, who's a taxi driver who drives all four of them, meaning Barney, Lily, and Marshall, and Ted to Robin's place. And before stepping out of the Ron Cheat's taxi, Ted says to Marshall, "You're going to tell my future kids about how I met Robin / future mother, and we're going to have a laugh at this one when you're my best man, because you're my best friend." Marshall, and then Barney says to Ted, "I thought I was your best friend," or "I'm your best friend, Ted." So Ted is hyping himself up, and again planning his start to his conversation with Robin, but he forgets one thing, that Robin has 5 dogs. So when he knocks on or rings the doorbell on Robin's door, Robin's 5 dogs bark, but thankfully, before running away, Barney, Lily, and Marshall convince him to get back in the game, get back there and get back in the game. So thankfully, Robin opens the door. Robin, tells Ted to come in, and Ted is inside. Meanwhile, Barney's like, "Guys, we can make last call. Still, we can still make it last call at McLaren's." And then 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 Melody shows after after Barney says that that or the girls or the women in Bangladesh Bangladesh pretty over there, and then Maljit proceeds in showing Marshall and Barney pictures of his wife, and his and then Barney says to Marshall, a simple yes would have pleased me better. Would have been better. And this is where again, just like I said before, Marshall tells Barney the truth about the olive that he loves olives. Meanwhile, inside of Robin's apartment, everything's going smooth until Ted says something like the Flash from DC Comics, and he says, "I think I love you," and of course Robin's like, "What?" She's in total shock. And she says, "What?" She's like shocked, and then a little bit some time passes by, and then back inside Robin's apartment again, Ted and Robin are sitting in silence on Robin's couch, and Ted awkwardly kind of breaks the silence with Robin and says, So Orlando, huh? Are you going to hit Disney? And then Robin says, You love me? Who's? And then Ted says, I don't know why I said that. And then Robin says, Here, you can have your jar of olives back. Then Ted again says, I think I love you. And to keep it short and sweet, guys, Robin is in shock, still in shock. Ted is like to Robin, please don't tell. Please be kind. Please be kind to me when you tell this to your friends. And Robin says, Yes, Ted, without saying yes. And then we see the gang meaning Lily and Marshall and Barney and Ranjit at McLaren's having a drink, sitting at their booth, having some drinks, and they're talking, and again And again, Ted is like to Lily and Marshall and Barney that Robin did not give him the signal. And they said, "It's over, Ted. She did. Robin did give you the signal. You blew it. You doomed it. Drop it. And then Algie says, then they have a toast to one heck of a funny night. And that's when adult Ted's voice says, I wasn't seeing the picture yet. The whole picture yet. I was just, attaching the first piece of the puzzle to the story, to this story. And this is how, and kids and guys and kids, this is how I met your aunt Robin. And the kid and his kids were like, "What? I thought this was the story about how you met Mom." And then old adult Ted's voice says, "I'm getting to that." So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Remember to leave a like and let me know in the comments if you want to. What was your favorite part of this first episode of season 1? And and guys and girls, do you have your own do you guys have your own olive theory? Your own olive theory with an olive or any type of another edible food that is not an olive. So with that being said, guys, again, thank you for watching. Remember to leave a like and until we TED again. Bye.